Night is dark and full of terrors, right? Right? Remember that? Oh my god, everybody was like all over that phrase. The night is dark and full of terrors. Okay. I'm talking about shadows, your dark night of the soul, and how to use them to find your light. Okay, I tried this a few minutes ago, like at least 20 minutes ago, and I always forget on Mondays. My mobile home park fucking mows the lawn right by my window every Monday. So I set an alarm for myself this time for next week, 9 a.m. They're gonna mow the lawn because I'm always pulling up around 9 a.m. trying to make this video and be quiet in my room so I don't have to use a microphone. And it's just like blows up in my face every single fucking time. Like, I'm just trying to show up and be on time. Today's going to be a little rough, speaking of shadows. So that's why I'm talking about shadows. I have a test that they want to do at the OBGYN, and it's going to hurt. I'm not looking forward to it. And they don't give you anything for it. So I have nobody to go in there and hold my hand with me, which would be nice, but I don't. So I'm thinking about the things we dread, the things that fill us with fear, obviously. And how to navigate all that. And right now it's just a physical thing I'm navigating. Of course, it's making me confront a lot of anger about the process and why I've had to deal with things the way I've had to deal with them. But I'm just a drop in the bucket. I know there's thousands and millions of women that are dealing with this too. So in that, I don't feel alone. But when it comes to emotional development, emotional ascension, growing into being a better person, being that spiritual gangster, we all love to talk about being alphas or spiritual gangsters, and when it comes time to be an alpha or a spiritual gangster, it's very difficult to apply. So, when you're practicing and you're just getting started on this spiritual journey, a tendency to move through your emotions quickly is very tempting. You tend to go into spiritual bypassing fairly easy, where you jump to disassociation, or you jump to seeking the silver lining on the clouds after a storm or during a storm. You know, there's always a silver lining. Keep your chin up. Sometimes it's not genuine to carry on as if nothing's happening to you. That's low-level spirituality. You're tempted to put on a brave face so you can constantly be a source of light for everybody. But is it genuine always to be on like that? No. Dark night of the soul, after you've done it a little while, you realize that's spiritual bypassing. You can spiritually bypass yourself and others. You can try to move others through too quickly with their emotions. When you're tender and you're trying to maintain a positive vibration in a superficial way, you will ask other people to behave differently to make you feel more comfortable, instead of maintaining your vibe no matter what happens. That's the true test. I feel like my bronzer's not blended, or it's the fact that I just re-dyed my roots and I'm not used to seeing myself like this right now. I'll get used to it. See, they're still like doing stuff outside and they're doing it intermittently, so I think I'm done. Now they're like sewing logs. sawing logs. Anyway, I think you can hear me anyways. So, back to my subject. Low-level spirituality. Trying to skip past other people's own moods. Maybe they haven't moved through grief yet and you're tired of hearing them talk because it's dragging you down. Maybe, here's the thing, like, there's a difference between a spiritual, like a energetic vampire that refuses to take good advice and get out of their shadow. And then there's the people who are moving through an emotion and just need somebody to witness they're moving through it in order to move through it faster. There's just somebody to sit with them, somebody to listen. There's a lot of shades to this. So as I'm sitting here talking, I'm trying to cover all the bases, but I know it's impossible to cover all the bases because there's different reasons why we go through shadows. A lot of times it's grief about a loss or a loss of identity. Who you thought you were isn't who you are actually being, or any number of things. When I'm bouncing back to asking other people to modify their emotional behavior to regulate your own. It is your responsibility to regulate your own emotions. You're 100% responsible for how you feel around other people. As somebody who's has empathy, an empathetic person, an empath, a psychic person, somebody who has had a lot of trauma when it comes to being hypervigilant, you're always going to be under somebody's mercy if you're asking them to change their behavior to make you comfortable. That's weakness. Spiritual gangsters self-regulate. Spiritual gangsters are their own parents a lot of times because we had vacant parents or non-existent ones or bad ones. When you look, and I learned this from Teal Swan, this particular metaphor. Okay, so when you're jealous, you can look at it in a couple ways, but the most healthy ways that I've looked at with jealousy is that whatever it is, okay, say this is really common because a lot of people I know are single. Okay, so you're single as hell, and it's been a long time since you've had a nice snuggle with somebody or a hug or been on a heart-to-heart connection with somebody, had any oxytocin, and you see somebody out in public receiving love that you wish you were receiving. And your jealousy rises up because, you feel like you're a good person, why not you too? Or maybe it's about money, maybe somebody that you work with just got a brand new car and you have a similar pay schedule. You're like, I just totaled my car last week. Like, why is life so hard for me? And we're on the same level. Stuff like that. Those are heavy emotions to deal with and very human. We are all going to have those thoughts and feelings visit. But dwelling inside that is unhealthy. So we have a tendency to move through it fast, and we're not really getting the full color palette of why these emotions come up and how we can learn from them because we're moving through them too quickly. So somebody who's more spiritually adept and have done this for a while let's talk about that. Say, when I feel a sense of jealousy or emotion rise that's very similar, or of any type, any kind. The way I got this from Teal Swan, this process, this thought process anyway. It is looking at what it is underlying that's making you feel that emotion, that negative emotion. I'm using jealousy as an example. Whatever it is that causes you to feel that way, you have to know deep down that whatever it is that you want, that you think will make you feel better in the having, a relationship, a job, a car, you know, that's activating your vibration. It's there. You can have it. It's pretty much waiting for you. But all you need to do is change your thoughts about the thing. You're in misalignment about believing you can't have the thing. You're the only one disallowing your ability to have the thing that you think you want. Your jealousy is an indicator of your belief that you can't have it, but it is active in your vibration. You can't be jealous about something if it's not active in your vibration. That's a positive. So sitting there and combing through the truth of your emotions and residing in your truth will bring you closer to your light. Okay, so your light might have to go through some darkness first. Often that's the case. We have to really see the positive and negatives of our emotions. So our problems are actually leading us to our enlightenment in every single way. It's happening for us, not to us. I'm going to go back to that metaphor that I had in a vision once. Pain, that human pain, the human experience is like the ocean. It covers the planet. From the angel's perspective, it's like a sea of feeling. And there's darkness and lightness. Those high points is where the choppiness comes in. It's the waves crashing. It's where the light can actually touch, but it's the most tumultuous. It has the most roiling, movement. It's splashing. It's bubbling at the surface. That's your pain. The parts that the light can't reach are where it's nice and smooth and easy, comfortable. We cry out for spirit when we're feeling the darkest. That's where we find our light. But we have to really get into our own truth with it. You can't cover this up and continue to pretend like it's not there. You can't disassociate it. You can't rush it. You can't rush the process if you're feeling waves of grief. It's going to come in different forms. That feels really good. You can't rush a mood, positive or negative. You have to feel your feelings. You have to go through your body and consult your organs often, every day, to really feel exactly what it is you might be covering up. Sometimes we might feel tension in our back or our livers, and it's because of an emotion. Piriformis syndrome is an emotion being locked in our body. Lower back problems is feeling like you're doing it all by yourself. Like there's not shared duties in the way it should be. Going it alone and feeling resentful about pulling all that weight by yourself. Our bodies will somatically tell us what we need to work on if we get quiet and listen. Our shadows will guide us to the light. But we can't hurry the process, and we can't demand other people to act differently to make our own process better. Anytime you feel tempted to ask somebody to alter their behavior, I want you to take a step back and not say anything at all. Ask for some time to respond, because you're looking for the right words. Take a step back. Really feel your feelings and decide how you're going to feel no matter what comes along before it happens. That's all I'm saying. So today, I have a cup hanging over my head that I wish I could have pass without ever drinking the cup. I have a biopsy on my uterus today. It's gonna hurt, and they don't give you anything for it. And I don't have anybody to fucking hold my hand. It's gonna hurt. Not looking forward to it. Life be like that. Life gives you shadows, and you have to decide how you're going to handle it beforehand. I've had plenty of time to think about how I was going to handle this today. So, I already know how I'm going to handle my emotions. But I have a lot of anger about the subject. And so I feel tightness in my chest. I feel pain in my body, my neck, because I'm angry, and I'm holding back. So I feel tension in my upper body. You gotta listen to your intelligence, your physical intelligence, your emotional intelligence. Your reaction, your shrinking, your tension, your resistance. You gotta pay attention to what's going on, and it will get you back to your light. It just takes some practice, but you gotta turn it into a game. It's literally boss battles on boss battles. If you can play, if you can play video games, if you can play games, people still call them video games? Am I old? If you can play games, you can play the Dark Knight of the Soul in your favor. You can get through it mentally. If you can play that boss battles, oh my god. If you can handle those boss battles, you can handle this one. You just gotta decide. So, for those of you still here, we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius. It's going to be my 7th house. On my stories, I put a vote for either Astro Q&A or Emoji Tarot. Astro Q&A will be by donation only. It takes more energy. Takes more labor. So there will not be a free option. If you want to participate, send me your circle chart. If you want to ask a question about your chart, if this is an Astro Q&A for you. If you want to learn, if you want me to explain an astrology principle, you can also participate with that. I'll do some teaching. But if you want me to talk about your shit, your natal chart, you will have to come to me correctly and answering certain questions. Like, it's like these things, when it comes to astrology, is a big energetic drain on me. That's why I don't tend to do these. So that's why I'm going to ask for donation for my time and energy, because at the end of the day, I do not want to feel like my cup is empty. But if this is what you guys want from me, I'll show up. Sliding scale. Donation only. I think that's all the updates for the day. Monday. Alright, guys. I'm gonna kind of try to be strong emotionally with this shit. I am fasted. I've been praying all morning. I had some anxiety in the middle of the night last night. But again, it's about using your shadows to find your light. And we've done some work. So we'll continue doing said work. Anyway, I love you guys. If you wish somebody was there to hold your hand today, I'm right there with you. So maybe spiritually we're holding each other's hands. I love you guys. Happy Monday.